Hello, everybody. Today we are doing What If Deku Was a Demon Part 3. You guys have loved this series. We even got more than 100 views, maybe. I don't know. I haven't checked. On our Part 2. Possibly. Don't know. But if we did, that's cool. And I do want to continue this series. It's a pretty cool one. And I can't get anything popular. So yeah. Anyway, we continued the story off right after Izuku got accepted into UA. And as he tells his father goodbye, he walks to UA High School. As Todoroki finally catches up with him and says, How can you wake up so early? You woke up at 5:30. Class starts at 8. As Izuku looks to him like, I'm sorry, I'm just good like that. As Todoroki says, So, what class do you have, Izuku? As Izuku says, I got 1A. As Todoroki, with excitement in his eyes, says, Yes, same. We both got 1A, thankfully. How many points did you get on your exam? As Izuku looks at his scorecard and says, 110. I got 70 villain points, and apparently around 40 hero points somehow. I guess I rescued someone or something, without knowing. As Todoroki says, Oh, that's cool. So, is there anyone you want to meet? As Izuku's like, No, not really. I'm fine. And as they keep talking, eventually they do arrive at UA High School. As Izuku finally steps on the rocks and says, This is it, brother. This is the journey commencing. As Todoroki says, uh-huh. As he ruffles his hair from the fire from yesterday's training with Endeavor. As Izuku says, So, are you going to use your fire quirk? As Todoroki says, Why would I? It's the old man's quirk after all. And he did horrible things to us. As Izuku's like, Yeah, whatever. And, yeah. So, Izuku went into UA High School. And after a couple minutes, Izuku and Todoroki run into the class, nearly being late. And when they arrive and realize, oh, we weren't late. And they bring up small talk with Ochakuraka. Well, at least Izuku does. Todoroki just goes straight to his desk. And a couple seconds into the conversation, as they're introducing each other, their teacher, or as they thought, a caterpillar, moved towards them, and he stood up and unveiled the sleeping bag, and it was revealed to be their homeroom teacher, Shota Aizawa. As Izuku thinks, what hero could that be? And one of the Minoru snickers to himself about something about girls, and Aizawa immediately perks up with his quirk activating and says, What was that? As Minoru just says, Nothing. As Izuku says, Eraserhead. Fascinating. And yeah, so a couple minutes later, Aizawa started talking about what they'd be doing today. And when Ochakuraka pipes up and mentions that they had the orientation to do, he said that they would not be going today, and they would be going to outside to do a physical exam, as he told them to all go to their locker room and put on their uniform for gym. After they all got on their uniform and head outside, Izuku and Todoroki get in line. And when Eraserhead says, So, Izuku Midoriya. Wait, no. I messed that up. Izuku Todoroki. You got the most points on the Enki exam, with a grand total of 110. Good job. That's the most in a long time. So, how far did your baseball throw go in middle school? As Izuku says, my throw went around 70 meters, but I wasn't trying that hard. As Shota tosses it to him, says, well, use your quirk. As Izuku says, I can finally use this. As he breathes in slowly and says, blood demon art. As blood starts circulating into his arms and his veins start popping out as the air around them becomes very much thinner and some kid actually starts hyperventilating as Izuku's arm gets very much swollen with muscle mass. As Aizawa says, interesting quirk, maybe not the best around us. As Izuku quickly throws his arm as far as he can, and the baseball, ended up going 1,300 meters. And Izuku saying, that was intense. That's the first time I've ever used that. As Bakugo thinks to himself, the first time he's ever used his quirk. Then how does he know he has it? Interesting. So, everyone else basically does the same. I mean, Todoroki could do a little better, I guess, because motivation from Izuku, but that's it, really. So, the rest of the exam goes on quite fine. Izuku is rewarded with 8th place because his grip was quite strong, but there were people who specialized in it, so he couldn't do much there. He did get 2nd place in a good amount of things, though, because of his speed and size changeability. So, Izuku and his friends Todoroki walk off as Aizawa announced that that was the end of the school day. And the next day, they arrive at school. And when Izuku starts talking to Todoroki, like, I wonder where our teacher is, as Todoroki agrees, like, yeah, he's quite running late, as it'd been 3 minutes late, and All Might finally rushes towards the door and opens it and says, I'm coming through the door like a normal person, as Izuku just says, oh, it's him. And the entire class begins cheering, as All Might's like, calm down. Today you will all be doing heroes versus villains training. As Izuku says, amazing. I can't wait. As everyone starts shouting, as All Might says, well, you will all be using your fabulous, magnificent hero costumes to battle today. Remember, kids, do not be too hard. This is simply training. As he glares at Bakugo, who, by the way, guys, has one for all, we'll say. Because why not? I mean, there was only Bakugo in the situation of the Sledge Villain, so we'll say that his endurance was quite good in All Might standards. And Bakugo had kind of calmed down a little, I guess. So, Izuku thinks, I can't wait to fight that kid. As a couple minutes later, all the students walk outside. And Izuku simply had I believe it's called a kinuichi. The thing that Nezuko wears. And basically everyone in Demon Slayer, because it looks awesome. Okay. And yeah, you can see it on the picture right here. So, Izuku is wearing one of those. So, Todoroki asks, why are you wearing casual stuff? As Izuku says, if anything, this is not casual, but I don't really need a hero costume. There's no use. I mean, I guess if I wanted stronger clothes, but there's no point. As Todoroki's like, whatever. A couple minutes later, All Might comes out of the door and says, well, today, students, we'll be drawing lots to determine the teams and the matches. And same stuff in the anime, as you'd imagine. Izuku with Ochako, Bakugo with Ida, same old, same old. So, when All Might announced the teams that Izuku would be going against Bakugo, they both got real happy because they both wanted to face each other. And since Bakugo and Todoroki, aka Izuku, were first, they both went. When Izuku and Ochako finally entered the building, Bakugo immediately rushes towards them, being quite near the front of the entrance. As Izuku says, get back, Ochako, as he jumps into the air and sucker punches Bakugo into the wall. As Bakugo didn't have the control of One for All, like full Cal, as you'd imagine. He still broke his limbs, as in the anime, like Izuku did. So, when Izuku started to beat down on Bakugo, and Bakugo not be able to conjure a explosion, he eventually gets quite angry and says, take this, as he kicks Izuku in the chin, as Izuku's like, what are you doing? As with One for All in his arm, he sends the grenade gauntlet at Izuku, as Izuku's like, I can't survive that. As he jumps over it, jumping through the roof of the ceiling. Being on the second floor now, as Izuku looks down at the explosion and sees that it completely destroyed the entirety of the floor, and the building was kind of crumbling now. As Bakugo on the ground says, I still can't control that. As Izuku drops down right above him, and with his foot drops him onto the ground. As Izuku lifts him up into the air and throws him at a wall, and finishes him off with a little demon art, but it wasn't that much. He just used enhanced punch to knock him out. As Izuku says, I can't let him touch me with that quirk. His quirk, along with the glowy thing, along with the grenade, is way too strong. I would have died. And as he gets on the walkie-talkie and starts saying, Ochako, are you in position? As she makes a small laugh as he starts hearing Ida confront her. As Izuku says, that's fine. As he gets prepared and jumps through the roof entirely and arrives just under Ida and yanks him under the floors and throws him back to the first floor. As Ida is on the ground, like, what the? As he sees Izuku in front of him and notices him that he is on the first floor in Ochako with the bomb. As Ida says, I have to go all out. As he gets his speeders ready, as Izuku says, don't even try. As Ochako jumps towards the bomb, and Izuku's like, he's going to try it. As Izuku jumps to cover the hole in the roof. As Ida thrusts his knee as far as he can into Izuku's gut. As Izuku coughs up blood. And that's when All Might announces, the heroes win. As Ida says, dang it, as he walks off. And yeah, that's pretty depressing for him. Anyway, Izuku and Ochako and the team go back to the facility. And when they arrive there, All Might says, "Well, everybody, who deserves the MVP the most?" As Momo pipes up, "That would be Tenya Ida. He truly adapted to his role and didn't break character once. He even attempted his best efforts." As All Might says, "Worthy, okay. What about young Bakugo?" As she says, "Well, he destroyed the entirety of the first floor and could have possibly broke the entire building. Way too rough." As Baku snickers to himself with his bandages on his right arm. And also, as she continues on, "You could have killed Midoriya back there. I mean, Todoroki." And Bakugo just says, "Well, at least he survived. He's not weak, at least." As Izuku smiles like, he just doesn't want to say I'm stronger than him. As the rest of the fights go the exact same, that is where we'll be ending off, guys. We are making steady progress. This might be a long series, I don't know. I love this series and I'd love to continue it. If you guys want to continue it, say that in the comments, give some likes. I can't ask for shares, people aren't like that. And yeah, just give some views, all the good stuff. Anyway, this is Clone Stories signing off. Goodbye, everyone.